Welcome to the Uncle Hack Podcast, where dudes pretty much just talk dude shit.
Welcome to episode 80 of the Uncle Hack Podcast. Back in the booth, the studio, fresh off of Easter weekend. I'm assuming many of you went and joined your families for a dinner of some sort. I'd imagine that they were just phenomenal. You know, some of those people that you haven't seen in a while. You've been arguing on Facebook on whether the vaccine works or not. You got your own understanding of what's happening with the Russia, Ukraine, you know, you're arguing about your freedoms of whatever country that you reside in and what's being stripped away of, you know, nobody sat there and just told stories about the old times of when everybody got along, because that doesn't exist anymore. No, families have been divided, you know, they've been divided, and that's how it should be. You should hate everybody that you sit down at the dinner table, because that's what it's the glue that keeps a family together. It's a nice, good argument and something to pick sides with, you know, because we're not fighting and bickering to one another about enough. So why not do it inside grandma's house around the dinner table, so that way everybody can be involved, rather than just viewing it on a Facebook photo of like whatever your pilled out aunt, you know, very into, I don't know, furthering bike lanes in your local town, you know. Why is there no bike paths in the town? Seems to be that all the local sports kids get to have what they want. They built a tennis court. People might want a bike. You ever think about that? I miss being back in Tabor, of like all the issues that would happen around the town. Like it's funny. I like that. I like how the problems that exist in a small town, you know, there's no homeless in the street screaming at you for 35 cents of the change that jingles around in your pocket. You know, there's no, I don't know, the crime is all petty crime. There's not like, you know, if a stabbing happens in a small town, the fucking whole town knows about it within, I'd say, 13 minutes. And that news has traveled from the south end of the town to the north, east, and west. All four corners have been covered, and everybody knows the story. Maybe even by the time that, you know, you could leak the information, and by the time it gets back to you, you got a whole different story on your hands. So... And that's before, you know, is somewhere in the city that the cops can even get to the scene. And that's how quick news travels down there. So the issues are a little different, you know. Down in my hometown, I imagine like petty crime of like theft happens more often than someone getting shot at. There seems to be an alarming amount of shootings that are happening in the city of Edmonton. I'm starting to feel a little bit more American. Maybe I get my visa to head down there a little sooner. Maybe I get dished a green card by presenting that, hey, look, I've survived a shooting in a Walgreens. You know, there was a shootout in the fucking cereal aisle at Walmart. I survived it. Got nicked off the shoulder, so I do have battle wounds to prove so, right? So I feel more American than most Americans right now. I believe that I should be residing in Austen, Texas. Maybe they give it to me, maybe they don't. I don't know. But it is funny, like, I do find, like, when people are arguing about freedom, you know, I was thinking about this, is like, the excuse of, or the rebuttal, I guess, you know, there's people that are ranting, raving about freedoms being lost in Canada, and then the rebuttal to it on the other side of the fence is like, well, you could be fighting a war in Ukraine. You could be defending for your freedom. Yeah, you're right. We could. And God bless those people that are willing to pick up arms and go fight to make sure the Russians don't invade or whatever the politics or the geopolitics, the economics that are behind that. Nobody knows, okay? All of us are fucking idiots. We need to understand that. It's just like when I brought the oil patch commandments or the unwritten rules of the patch, and I said everybody's an idiot. That's exactly it, even myself included. Sometimes I step out of line and start thinking that I know a little bit more about geopolitics than the next person, and I don't care to read about it. I love to throw my opinion in the air because that's the type of person I am. I'm just, every now and then you hear someone bring up, well, you could be fighting for, you're afraid you'd have to pick up a gun and go fight the Russians like the Ukrainians are. It's like, yeah, well, I can't. Some people can't. They can't even fly out of the country to go fight for the Ukrainians because the unvaxxed can't fly. And it seems like those people, if there's anybody that's anti-government at the moment, which is the most punk rock thing to do, is not take a vaccine, and there's just too much going on, and it just starts, it boils over, and you're having these conversations between morons. You go on TikTok Live and you got to listen to these guys talk about epidemiology, and these fellas barely got through Science 10. This would be like me trying to, give you the economic structure of a country and how the proper things that need to be done to run this, I see in the comments section from time to time that Uncle Hack for Prime Minister. If you want to sink a ship further than the ocean's floor and you want to go straight to the Earth's core, I am that guy to do so. If you think things are bad right now, if you put me in power, they will be worse, okay? I will let greed and power go to my head, like any man should, being from a position of where I'm at to a position like that. You think that overnight I'm going to overcome all these insecurities and really lay down a plan to help the people? No. We're human. You give me power, I'm going to abuse it. You think Big Trudy's flying that fucking plane around? Dude, those wheels will barely touch the ground, only to refuel every now and then. I'll be hitting Mar-a-Lago with Trump, talking about where we invade next. And he'd be like, why the fuck would I need your help? I don't know. Dude, I don't know. Figured you need a right-hand man. I got oil. I got fresh water. Tons of lumber. I'm just saying, maybe me and you teaming up might be sick as hell. The greatest tag team partners of all time, This is what I mean. This is where the power struggle goes, and next thing you know, you are picking up a gun and fighting for a real dictator like myself. Not saying that maybe, Big Trudy does some questionable things that I'm not too fond of. In fact, I'm not too fond of any politician. I hate being painted as liberal, conservative. It annoys the hell. I don't like any of them. I don't enjoy anybody that cinches up a fucking tie. It's like watching these animals all go and parade and, yeah, Pierre Pouvier's getting in office. Like that guy gives a fuck, okay? He's playing chords to the sound of distraught voices that are angered inside. And he's saying the right thing at the right time. And I was talking to a gentleman about this. And after we had that conversation, I think that he may be right. He's found the perfect time, the perfect political climate, and the perfect blend of people that are very, very upset at how things are going right now. I'm sure it's similar in the States, right? You get some Republican that's able to speak to people that are angry. Emotions are the easiest thing to play off of, right? You ladies out there that listen to this, you love the term gaslighting. This is political gaslighting. It's just pretending that, oh, I'm about to help you guys the fuck out and everything's about to get better if you put me in office. It's not going to get better. It never will get better. You're a slave to the grind. I was ranting about this today, and I find it funny, is we argue and we fight, and every day you're at somebody else's throat, and these people say shit to anger you and get you going, and you're yelling at the wall for no reason because you read a headline, right? You read a headline and you're angry. You're built up inside. You have all this emotion that you as a man don't want to release because it's a lot, right? And I see these fucking knuckleheads always talking, if a man was to cry in front of you, you'd never look at him as a man again. And there is like a degree of that. I kind of agree with it. Because, it's difficult. When you break down, when you fucking lose it, right? In front of a group of people, they're like, "Oh shit, I don't know what's happening." You don't know what to do. I'm about as typical male as you can get. As soon as there's a negative emotion, maybe not, I shouldn't say negative, but if there's crying involved, if there's hurt feelings or upset feelings, I don't know how to address it, and I freeze up. I don't know how to talk. I hate that. I hate dealing with it. That's why I think most dudes enjoy being alone, because then it's easier. You don't have to be vulnerable for a second. You don't have to, I don't know. It's like when your woman starts crying and the first thing you do, you're like, how do I fix this? Jesus, fuck, I don't know what to do. Oh shit, what the fuck? Where's the reset button? Can I reset this thing? What happens next? What do I do? The first time that you had to deal with the crying woman, it was awful. You don't know what to do. You're not taught these things. Your old man just used to be like, shut the fuck up, get through it. And that's what we do. Now, that's toxic masculinity. It's better that way. It truly is better that way. Because you as dudes, for years we've been told, you should express yourself. I don't know how, and I don't want to. It's just easier for me to suppress it, and then every now and then just be throw out what's really stewing in my head, because then it just digs my hole deeper. Let's be real. When you express yourself and your true emotions to your lady, it's never what they really want to hear, right? Yeah, because you don't say anything too often. And that's my thing. I get into I shouldn't say arguments, but I get into these talks with the old lady every now and then where I suppress things and I don't want to speak about them because it's just easier to plow through it. It is. It's 10 times easier than to sit down and describe the emotion, because then you got to Google what emotion am I feeling, learn what the hell that is, then figure out how to tie that emotion to how you're truly feeling into conversation. And it's just building it out, and it's fuck, it's easier going to the garage, cracking a beer, and just working on my truck listening to Waylon Jennings. It's much easier. I'll just go in the garage, we'll cool off, we'll understand that there's some tension in the household. You'll want to talk about it. I'll say I'm sorry. We get through it, and we move on to be with one another for another day. It's just easier that way. But instead, that's toxic masculinity, because you don't want to express your feelings. I want a guy that feels. No, you don't. Nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody likes guys that have feelings. They're always weird. They rub you the wrong way. There's one way to express yourself, but when you're an emotional guy, I'm saying, those guys that are just they're too much. There's always something. I'm depressed. I'm this, I'm that. And it's the vocal ones are usually never going to be the ones that pop their top, right? And I know mental health, we should take it serious. I'm all for that. I am 100% all for that. We as gentlemen need to figure out a way to talk about what the hell's going on upstairs, but the way that we're told isn't really the way that dudes want to line it up and chop it up that way, we fight. I miss the days when we just fight and it was over, done with, maybe violence isn't that's toxic masculinity. For too many years now, we're just being told everything's toxic. Yeah, it's a red flag in a guy. You're toxic. You're toxic. Red flag. Oh, he doesn't really have a relationship with his mother? Red flag. Oh, he has too much of a relationship with his mother? Red flag. There's no like ebb and flow with any of this shit. So it's a confusing world that we're living in. And now that we live in a fast-paced digital fucking world where anything that you do or say can be online, possibly go viral and ruin your character, that's why I don't understand how any dude right now that isn't in a relationship would want to get into one. Because are you seeing like what's going on in like some of these TikTok trends where it's like, I exposed this guy for being a piece of shit. Meanwhile, it was just like a misinterpretation, and now the whole internet knows you as like a fucking, I don't know, some dickhead that didn't tip a waitress on a first date, and now, wow, that guy's an asshole. And you got to deal with the ramifications of that, and then you're like, this is why I don't come out of the house. This is why I don't go on dates anymore. And then all the psychopath women are getting validation from all the other psychopath women that are like, yeah, you should expose him across the internet, and it's a never-ending cycle. So now any like sane, semi-sane. I don't think any of us are like full-blown insane or full-blown sane. I think like right in the middle. You know, you got your bubbles that you go through, and you lose it a little bit every now and then. But it seems like anybody that has like a mediocre demeanor, understands how a conversation, you can talk with them. They got a little bit of emotional intelligence packed in their noodle. So, you know, there's never like flying off the handle. You son of a bitch! Dealing with that. Or you got some guy that'll throw a wrench through your driver's side window because he's pissed off because you didn't get his favorite pizza pops that day when you went grocery shopping, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back because he's pressing it all in. You know, we're trying to figure out too much stuff at one time. And right now, like we're in this new wave of like emotions and actions and accountability, and it's a lot of people have went a lot of years without having to deal with that, and then the internet comes around and puts you in check because some other person feels it's necessary to do that online rather than to your face. So now we're just butting heads even more. Like feminism is now just a witch hunt, it seems like, to anybody that could question what they're up to. Maybe that's not wrong, but it just doesn't seem like it's about equality anymore. And it's more so a power grab and like who can be in positions of power. And it's not about, oh, well, we need more equality in the workplace. Okay, well, yeah, like we need more female plumbers. We don't see more female plumbers. Oh, that's right, because I don't want to deal with the shitty jobs. I don't want to deal with them. You know, male strippers aren't making as much, and they're not as prominent as female strippers. There's issues that need to, across the board, it's too much. We need to cool off, right? Because right now, let's be real, like right now, we're dealing with enough as it is, just with everyday life tasks of getting up, going to work, inflation's hitting, gas prices are through the roof. You're not making as much as you used to. Hours are getting cut. The price of bananas has went up. You know, you can't buy bread and milk anymore because that's going up. Meat, the prices of meat, they're pushing veganism on it. Well, have you tried plant-based meat? Yeah, because that's what I want to fucking enjoy after grinding my ass up. I want to sink my teeth into a fucking steak. But instead, the rich and famous, the wealthy, I shouldn't say just famous, because, you know, we now, you can be internet famous and broke. Trust me. I am one of them. I survived a pandemic by doing this shit. So I pat myself on the back for being able to do that. And now we're getting into stand-up, and enough about me. Anyways, you know, and here's what I got to say. It's like a lot of guys out there, you know, you don't hear this. You're doing okay, buddy. You're doing fine. Keep going. I feel like we just, like, that's the shit that fellas got to hear every now and then. We shit on one another a lot. We do. And I like that because that's how we bond. You know, that's how men bond. If a guy is talking mad shit to you, and the moment that you leave the room and you're like, that guy's a son of a bitch, 9 times out of 10, that guy that was just shitting on you just looked at that group of men that you were standing with, and he goes, you know what? That guy's a really good dude. That guy's a really good guy. That's just how we bond. Let's not break that bond. I like that bond because it sifts out all the bullshit. Instead of that fake nice shit to your face, right? We're just assholes to one another. And it creates something much deeper than just being like, oh, I like your dress today. Your dress looks great. And the moment that lady walks away, she looks like shit in that dress. No. I like how men deal with that and be like, look at those boots, you fucking loser. What did you pay for those? You're an idiot. Girl. You leave the conversation. You know what, man? Fuck, he worked his ass off to get those boots, and good for him. Good for him. We don't say compliments to one another because that's just not how we operate. But nobody is sitting there saying, you know what, gents? You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. You're going out. You're getting the jobs done. You know, you're bringing home a little bacon. You're putting some food on the table for the family. You're doing the things that are necessary to make sure the quality of life under your household is still being upheld. Good for you. No one's saying that shit. Good for you. Because now what you're being hammered with anything that could possibly anger you. And it could be politics, it could be economics, it could be your job, it could be your relationship. All day, you know, all day. They're just taking a piece from you. And this applies to women too. Some of you are the breadwinners of the house, and some of you don't hear that you're doing a phenomenal job out there as well. You as well. Anybody who listens to this, you're doing great. Keep going. Don't quit. I'm going to strip off a little bit of the Uncle Hack, quote unquote, persona, and I'll speak more of as like Brendan. Because I blow things out of proportion. I just act like a jackass sometimes on here because I find it entertaining. I find it funny. And to me, that type of humor is hilarious. And I may not be able to articulate my thoughts as well as I think I can inside my head because I don't have the right vocabulary to do so. And sometimes I come across as like a major idiot. And I think that's funny because I think when I set out on this journey, on this little, I don't know what like creating the videos and creating the merch and creating the brand and doing the things, I just took all the things and the activities and my hobbies and everything I enjoy and squished it into one. And what things that make me laugh, I repost on some pages. Things that I find funny, I create sketches around, stand-up bits. Just anything that makes me genuinely giggle is what this is. And I find it hilarious to sit here and talk about, you know, whether it be news articles, problems that you're having when you're sending them in. And I find it hilarious that I would be... Oh, excuse me. That I would be the one that you reach out to for advice and see what I have to say. Because you know you're going to get the wrong answer, which is hilarious. And I think that's a funny way to go about it and to get through whatever it is you're going through. Because sometimes you just need a laugh. You need to hear the ridiculous end of things and be like, well, I don't think I'm going to go that far. I don't think I need to go that far. And you figure it out for yourself. So it's a win-win for both of us. In a way, it's kind of a fucked up way to get there, right? But you figured it out yourself. Whether or not you want to believe that I gave you the advice, I didn't. I gave you the wrong advice, and then in whether you acted on it or not, but I hope that you view the things that I say as comedic, as comedically, or I hope it's perceived comedically. This is what I mean when I'm in real time trying to think about these things, because I'm not the person you come to looking for, I don't know, like a political debate. I don't follow it enough. But I don't know. I just feel like the more I get out there, and now that things are opening up and you're talking with people, it just seems that nobody is, I shouldn't say nobody, but it just seems like there's a common theme of like a division. We're all subdivided, then we're the division inside that little niche group of people that you're in, and now is separated over a different opinion, and nobody's talking with one another. And I think if those walls were just stripped down for a second and you just talked about what people were going through rather than their political ideologies, how they think that the world should be ran, and just talking about how was your day, what did you do, and finding common interests. What kind of music do you like? What kind of sports? Do you like sports? Do you like art? Do you like... I don't know, you build things? What kind of hobbies are you into? It seems like nobody has a fucking hobby anymore. Nobody goes out and just finds an activity that they thoroughly enjoy doing. I don't know why we put so much time and emphasis on what these things fucking have. These cell phones, you know? What they curate and they deliver to you, and they keep you distracted and keep your head in the sand rather than just expressing yourself to other humans and chatting with one another and getting the fuck over the fact that whatever you say online does not matter. 0% of it matters. You could scream it into the sky. That's essentially what you're doing online. When you're screaming, and then you might get something back from somebody, shut the fuck up, off a balcony. Then you're just yelling. Like, that would be more useful with your time than arguing on your cell phone, you know? Because there's lots of... I'm trying to get better at it, at just like when I'm in a room with people, just to have a conversation with them rather than, oh, what's going on Twitter? What problems are happening on Twitter? You know? And I just think that if people would just put that down for a second, put down your political views, put down your what you think is the right move, whether mask, no mask, fucking how are we gonna fix the homeless problem? You know, so maybe instead of trying to fix the homeless problem, go talk with homeless people and see what the problem actually is. Nobody does that. You think politicians leave their shiny little fucking office to hear what a homeless man's actual problems are? Wow, we're trying to get you housing. I don't want housing. I don't want to live in your world. Some of them just need identification so they can get back on their feet. They just don't have any money to go and renew their ID and get that, so then they can get their social insurance number to go back to work. Instead, they're begging for change. That seems to be the major issue. But none of them want to do that. No, I know how we'll do it. We got to get rid of that homeless encampment and we'll ship them to a different part of the city, and we'll just keep juggling them around rather than fix the fucking problem. It's not. It's all confusion, bullshit, smoke and mirrors to keep us, you and I, the ones listening and watching this, arguing with one another. That's what I think. That's like the true side of Brendan. I don't really enjoy this, oh, you're a conservative, yo, you're liberal, oh, heck, maybe you're a little more libertarian. No, I don't like any of it. I like criticizing it. I really like criticizing it. I don't like government officials. I don't like anything surrounding men with big egos sitting in business suits looking down upon people as if like, these peasants are the ones that need to pay me. I'm doing an like below average job at a high profile fucking gig, and here we are sitting around rubbing our, rules don't apply to me. I am the great leader. I'm going to drive the human race to a different stratosphere that these people will never understand. That's what I tell them anyways. But meanwhile, I sit on my fat fucking ass with the opposition enjoying the finest cut meat of Wagyu beef. But what do I know? And anybody that wants to criticize or question the government, they get shot down. That's an issue to me. That's a bigger issue than what political party fucking sticker you want to put on the back of your fucking vehicle or your bike helmet, you know? I don't know. I just think that we're arguing over just ridiculous things right now. Like for instance, Apple adds pregnant man and gender neutral emojis to iPhone. How is this what we're fucking, you know how many people are going to be just losing their fucking mind over this? Like, honestly, there's going to be people that are just going bananas over this article right here. Okay, here's the headline. I'll read it to you like when you were a young boy and you were over at Grandpa's house. Let's expand that. I wonder if I go a little bigger, what happens? Oh, nice. Does that just take up the... Oh, you learn something new every day. Okay, here we go. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Apple adds pregnant man and gender neutral emojis to iPhones by Sarah Dokuto at Global News. So this is released April 18th, 2020 at 9 a.m. Okay. iPhone users across the globe may have noticed several new options in their emoji keyboard, including a pregnant man and a gender-neutral pregnant person. See, like, look at this. Wow. iPhone user, okay, emojis rolled out in mid-March, and along came with it a pregnant man. Emojipedia has a Ukrainian flag in there. Okay, we got pregnant men. Looks like a gender binary pregnant. Well, it just looks like a woman with a bowl cut almost, in a way, that has a little bit of a comb over. This emoji looks like they'd probably dabble in Harry Potter. And how they determine where their friends sit with them is like they would ask like, well, which house are you? For like, I don't know, Hufflepuff or whatever the fuck they're all called. I'm not a really big Harry Potter fan, but I've been in the room while they're talking with one another, and I was like, oh, sounds like you're Gryffindor. You know? I don't know. Okay, I'll shut the fuck up. Alongside the pregnant emojis is another genderless icon depicting a person with a crown added to the early existing king and queen emojis. These emojis can come with 5 different skin tones that users can select from by pressing down on the... All right. Oh, they got the biting lip emoji, so that way we can get a little more sexual. Be like, oh, that's so hot. I love these ones that over time that we've attached our own meaning to it. Like the eggplant is a dick. The drooling one is just like, oh, so horny. Like you just, when you can speak in a language of pictures now, and it's hilarious. Like you don't have to type out a whole sentence, but it's funny that you send a picture. Some people will send that picture or an emoji, I guess to say, to describe exactly what's going on there. But then, like, you realize to shorten up your typing, you use emojis to try and not further the conversation. So it's hilarious that we do this, right? Oh, we need more emojis to not try and make people talk, because like when somebody just hits you with 2 laughing crying emojis, that they're like, oh, okay, these guys are really trying to tell me to fuck off, essentially is what's happening here. And so by adding more emojis, like do people just have conversations now? I'm 31 years old. I don't really understand this new generation coming up, and I don't fully want to understand this Gen Z culture. I don't care for it. I genuinely miss... I am that person now that looks upon the past and be like, oh God, things were actually like, we peaked. Now, is it easier to manage your life with one of these cell phones? 100%. Dude, think about how much easier things have gotten. You can order food. It will come to any location that you're at. before, if you wanted a Slurpee when you were a kid, you had to get on your bike, ride the hell down to 7-Eleven, Max, or, whatever corner store the local East Indians owned. And I say that with respect because the East Indian dude that owned the Max right by our house was fucking rock solid. Super funny guy. He loved all the kids that would come in there. He'd joke with us. The one time, though, I was being a fucking little asshole. I was like 13 years old and I was being a little asshole, right? And he used to fuck with us a little bit. He'd joke with us. Dupac was his name, and he kicked ass. I really liked him. But I jokingly took it too far the one day, and I don't think he was having that. Usually we'd rib one another a little bit, and I'd fuck with him, and he'd fuck with me. And I called him a poo, and that was it. That was a nail in the coffin, whether he's mad at me or he's going through something, either or, I set him off that day, and shit got a little bumpy, where now those interactions that you had as a kid to understand where the line is with when you're meeting strangers and all this is kind of removed. Everything's just racist. Everything's stamped racist. Where before I had to figure that out, like, oh, okay, that's not a nice thing to say to somebody. You got to figure out a funnier way to approach him. If you're gonna roast him on race, you got to be a little closer. You can't just come in hot and heavy, start calling this guy fucking a poo. Thank you, come again, doing that shit at him. Or else you're gonna run into some problems. But that's just the way things were back then. It was right there. It wasn't like making a TikTok 3 days later to try and bring down the patriarchy. It was none of that. No, it was right there in the moment. We solved it, moved on. I seen him the next day when I came in to get my daily treat. Or when I'd come in with mom getting her lottery tickets so that way we could possibly move out of this hellhole of a fucking country we call Canada, But it never happened. I'm still here. But now you just grab your phone, type in the Slurpee, your guy will pick it up and deliver it to your 13-year-old son sitting in the basement that's making TikToks with his boys, doing dance moves, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I hope to God, you know what? Maybe them pregnant emojis came in at the right time. I don't know. Maybe he might get impregnated down there with all of his little friends that perm their hair. What else we got here? A person with a crown. Okay. So, honestly, this person just looks like, if I was going to guess, I would either guess it's like a 23-year-old lesbian or a 13-year-old boy. So, I mean, they nailed it, right? It's usually like the non-binary. You're questioning, like, are they a young boy or a lesbian? I can't quite tell, You're just always scratching your head. Oh, wow. Okay. The system update also saw the addition of several other emojis, including a melting face, a disco ball, beans, a troll, and a biting lip icon. Oh, look at these. Isn't that great? We got the heart. The pregnant man is hilarious. And the pregnant person. Why do we need that? With the extensive list of emojis that we already have that many of us don't use, right? There's like probably, I'd say any self-respecting person probably has like a roster of 15 emojis that they jump between, right? Every now and then. Why are we adding more? Why do we need more? I like the handshake one. They got these handshake ones and it's got like all these and be like, okay, it just goes from white and then the other hand changes and goes to black, and then they got the a lighter version, and then it goes all the way from then they have to switch hands. I don't get that. Like, why? And then there's a nest with eggs, beans, a water slide, an X-ray, what looks to be an ID. Like, these are all unnecessary. But the one that's going to stick out the most is this pregnant man, and it's going to get people riled up. But what the fuck do I need a pregnant man and a fucking emoji? I can already hear just men that don't need to put out their opinion, aka me. Gentlemen like me, just getting riled up for no fucking apparent reason. It's like, they want to make feminine hygiene, feminine hygiene products accessible. Well, what the fuck? The condoms should be free. You go to any college and they are, right? And who the hell fucks with condoms anyways? These little issues like this that just set people off are so funny. Because when the fuck, like, I get it. It's a bit extreme, a pregnant man. It's hilarious that we've gotten this far in what, the biological race? Are we against anybody right now? Is country versus country? Like, are we over here in North America? It's almost like the race to the moon, and it's like, who can get a pregnant man first? And we're over here, and they're like, look at us. We're flexing on the Russians. Be like, look at a dude just had a baby. What are you guys doing? And they're like, well, we're in the verge of getting more land control. We'll take Ukraine. Yeah. Well, we can double down on pregnancies over here. We can double down. We can get dudes pregnant. And they're like, good for you. It's an abomination to God. And you're like, what the fuck? This is why we're helping the Ukrainians. I'd like to see. Let's check the comments on this. This would be one worth doing so. All right, get past this horse shit. Enough. Where's the people? Damn, sooner than I thought. Someone comments, Happy Easter from the squad. Okay. Not as good as I thought. Okay. I lied. I am sorry for this. Let's get the hell out of this. But that's what I mean. This is what I mean when I say, like, anything that gets thrown out there just to keep us angry. This is just another argument, and somehow if you make a statement about it, you're a fucking bigot, you piece of shit. How dare you think that men can't get pregnant? And it's like, well, fuck, I didn't think I'd see the day. I don't want to get knocked up. Actually, I don't want to. That's what worries me the most. Maybe that's a deep insecurity of us guys, is we're just sitting there and be like, well, no, I don't want that. I got blessed with a dick, the best organ you could possibly have on any human body. We are the number one gender. We've built everything, Women are over here bitching about, fucking equality. Start building. We should just kick them all out into the countryside. Just out. And you got to start building your shit, Just the fellas, anything that we get, we own now. We'll divide it up strictly by genders. No more races. Races have been completely removed. It's now men versus women. That's it. And you guys better start learning how to weld and doing carpentry, Because quite honestly, we got it in the bag, baby. Some of the best chefs in the world are men. Some of the best carpenters are men. Some of the best welders are men. Best mechanics are men. Overall, right? You guys got a shallow. Your talent pool is much more shallow than us. So, when you get one that's like half decent, where everybody's like, wow, look at this. There are some great women out there that are doing wonderful things. And I'm not shitting on those women. I'm just saying, if you're looking at it as a quantity over quality way of going about it, then I don't know. If you're looking at it from a quantity over quality standard, we got you done. If we divided society and we put dudes over here, ladies over here, like it's some fucked up Catholic boarding school in the middle of fucking nowhere where the girls go on one half and the boys go on the other, then, have fun. You'd remove like 90% of female jobs would just be done. It's like stripping. Ladies don't go to the strip club. You're not going to fucking swindle women. So that's done. If we got rid of OnlyFans, A lot of, God damn. You sit and think about that, like a segregated society of men and women. We'd be having a good time though, wouldn't we, fellas? We'd have a great time. You know how much fucking fun the parties would be? There would be no such, you would never in your life ever again, you'd be sitting in the garage drilled and you never, okay, it's time to go. You would never have to hear that. Never in your life again in a segregated male and female society would you be sitting there trying to unpack for the vacation to be like, okay, well, we got to do this, we got to do that. You could just like literally throw your suitcase on the ground, be like, all right, I guess we just, what do we do now? Just drink for 7 days? I was laughing, this is where I wanted to go earlier with this was, all right, we're done with this. It's funny, with inflation happening and all the problems that are happening, actually happening that affect your household, right? We're supposed to care about what I just read to you. Oh, there's a pregnant man emoji, because that really affects my life. Day-to-day activities, this affects my life. The fact that my buddy can jokingly send me, hey, what are you, pregnant? It just adds more humor to the group. But if you do that outspokenly, then all of a sudden you're a bad guy, bigot, blah, 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 blah. List goes on. Put me in the fucking gulag. Waterboard me with piss. Whatever you need to do. Get it over with. I don't care. All right? Out me on TikTok. I don't give a shit. Oh, he's a homophobe. He's transphobic. Whatever it needs to, because I'm laughing at a pregnant man emoji. Whatever you need to label me as, get it over with. I hope to God my career takes a fucking boost because of it. That's all. But for the regular run-of-the-mill folk that find that funny and or take it as this is some sort of conspiracy theory, is like indoctrinating the kids to become more trans and whatever it may be. Here, boil it back, okay? Problems in the household. We got inflation hitting, gas prices are through the roof. Like, Jesus Christ, I put $85 into my pickup the other day, and I got like just over half a tank. 85 beans used to fill that bitch. So I was fucking irate. Every time I go to the pump, I'm like, I'm losing it. So now we're taking a hit in the wallet, right? And the fucking argument are like, well, what freedoms have you lost? Well, some people can't fly in the country. That's a freedom lost in my mind. Even inside the country. I could see internationally, but they can't even get on a fucking plane in Canada. Well, you could go far. What the fuck? Everybody went down to Ottawa. You're too stupid. Did you go there? Shut up. You didn't go there. If you're there, you get an opinion about, the truckers are racist. Shut the fuck up. No one cares, okay? Right now, you got families, right? Families fighting tooth and nail to make sure that they don't lose their house. Some of them had to sit on the government handout program to make sure ends were met, Food on the table is a big issue now with inflation hitting, right? You can't buy a house as a millennial, but now we're supposed to give a shit about pregnant man emojis. This is why our generation is great and sucks at the same time. We're too stupid to realize that shit don't matter. But meanwhile, you can't get a mortgage to buy property anymore. Corporations are buying up all the property. You now have to rent. You're just renting for the rest of your life. You won't own anything. And that's what, according to the WEF, that's what they want. And that's where you're going to be happy. So then this is an issue, right? And then the smaller issues, I'd reverse it. I'd say the bigger issues come with like keeping your household happy, You got to come home. The old lady's a little upset because, we're a little tight on the budget and we're juggling on whether or not we get a full cupboard for food to make sure the kids are going to fucking eat, or Are we going to miss the power bill this month? Are we going to miss the rent? We got to juggle bills, and like, how are we going to stretch $1 out to 15? And you got to have that argument, and you're battling. You just want a vacation, right? But you can't go on vacation because it's $1.50 fucking 7 a liter, and the only vacation you could possibly go on is driving to the nearest possible lake about wherever the fuck you're at. And I don't know about you, but I'm in the when I was growing up, the lake closest to us was a goddamn irrigation runoff. It looked like shitty chocolate milk. The water that you swam in, it was an irrigation runoff where cows pissed into. Okay? That's the lake we got to stare at. A body of water not worth driving to, but that's the only thing you can afford to do. You can't take the kids to Disneyland. It costs way too goddamn much, you know? And you're already dealing with the relationship battle on whether or not you work more overtime or spend more time with the wife. So you're dealing with that. And you're working your ass off just to go stare at a fucking body of water that you don't want to look at, you know? And when you get there, right, before you even get there, you got to load up snacks, get the tent ready. You got to do all these tasks just to get to the goddamn lake. We got to go shopping. We got to load up the cart. We got to get food, snacks, make sure everybody's going to be able to eat. You got to get the tent or rent an RV or borrow your fucking uncle's. Get the RV out there, and it's going to cost you $450 just to drive the goddamn thing and fill it up with diesel or gas, whatever it runs on, just to get to wherever the hell you need to be. And you think that you're going to kick the feet up for the weekend and enjoy it so you can unwind and unpack all this tension that you got built up inside, the frustration of going to work, battling tooth and nail to make sure the bills have been met? No. What sits on your mental the whole time is how much money you're watching being pissed away, only to go somewhere and look at something you don't want to look at because it's not aesthetically pleasing and it's not quiet. In fact, you got more work to do. You got to set up the tent. You got to get out the barbecue. You got to cook for the kids. You got to clean up. You got to get the campfire going. You want to kick your feet up and enjoy a beer? Good luck. You got the wife in the background yelling at you. Honey, what time you going to put the steaks on? When are you going to put the steak? Are you going to put the steak? Are you going to put this? Well, don't get mad at me. We're on vacation. This isn't the fucking vacation I had in my mind. That's the issue here. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the fact that I allowed myself to get fucking talked into this bullshit, right? You've been there. You're sitting there. The kids are fucking screaming. You know, the older brother just took the younger brother, his younger sister, sort of pushed him into the water. And now you got to, the one's crying and the other one's, you got to yell at, hey, fuck, cool it. Now you got the wife then, honey, we're on vacation. We're supposed to be having a good time. I'm not having a good time. You want to know what a vacation for me is? Anywhere but here. Okay? I love my wife. I love my kids. And I'm putting myself in your shoes in whatever situations you're in, right? I assume that you love your kids. I assume that you love your wife. But I also assume your ideal vacation isn't staring at a fucking lake in central Alberta outside of, or even use my hometown. Your vacation wasn't driving 80 kilometers outside of the town to stare at a body of water that's used to irrigate crop that we call a lake. I didn't envision this. I didn't work my ass off to be in this position. I wish, hear me out, I wish I'd be able to take the kids to Disneyland, but apparently we can't because you feel it's better that you raise the kids at home. And I agree, but it just so happens to be the reason why we're struggling to make ends meet. You know, you've tried every multi-level marketing scheme there is. Because your friends keep talking us into it, so we scrounge together $1,200 so that way you can sell fake fucking hemp protein powders to every dumb bitch in this town, but you're all trying to sell it to one another, honey. So now We got 18 boxes of fucking protein sitting in the garage that I use for my work shake. It tastes like ass. And I got to pretend like we're doing okay, right? I got to pretend like we're doing okay. I'm to the point where, honey, I'd rather you just spread your pussy on OnlyFans and every guy in this fucking town that ever wondered what you look like naked can see it for $4 so that way we can get 2 months ahead. That's where I'm at. Why don't we do that? Show your asshole. Instead of trying to feed these people things that are just going to spray out of their ass, just show yours. And then we'll never have to come to this fucking lake again. Stare at this fucking shitty... There's cow shit floating around in the water. You want to swim in that? You know, there's not even sand on the beach. It's just clay. It's just shitty clay and mud mixed together. We can't even put a fucking chair in there. You just sink. You know, so you pray that it always made me laugh because like the levels would drop down there, and there was like there was a drought. You had to walk like an additional like maybe 25 yards just to get to the water. And in there, you know, over the years, obviously it's a boating lake and a lot of people go out there, rip their fucking skidoos and bullshit, whatever. So you get to where obviously some drunks dropping bottles, you get all this garbage and it's just disgusting. There's those little thorns with I don't know what they're called, but they're like balls with thorns all around them. You'd step on those and you're just like, you're battling just to get to the fucking water for a swim. And it was atrocious. And you fucking, your joints are almost being, you know, like your shin bone is almost being pulled out of your knee socket or your knee socket, whatever. Because the mud just sucks your feet under. So when you're pulling it, you can just feel your joints and ligaments being torn apart. And you're like, I'm so close to having a swim. Oh, is this what the settlers felt like? And it's all it is 25 yards just to get there. And you're stepping on jaded rock, avoiding glass. So you can watch your kid doggy paddle for 15. I'm hungry. And you're like, fuck, oh God, why me? God damn it. But it was so funny because like the grass, everybody's sitting on the grass and they're yelling at Frank, don't you think we should get the hot dogs going? And you're like, you could just see the men, you know, a time like that, whatever parent was has a little more pull in the household was always the one that just like, yeah, okay. You could just see them on edge all the time, like they're ready to just fucking snap, and they suppress that feeling. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that about humans. It's just like how real and raw you can be. Like that campground was electric. We'd always go down there when we were kids, and I loved it because it was just it was a white trash hangout, and I am white trash. I enjoy that. My family really tries to hide it at times, and I think we need to embrace it. You know, everybody. Like I'm 90% sure everybody on both sides of my family has like some sort of criminal charge on them, whether it be a DUI, it could be, you know, it's either you have a criminal charge or an addiction is the common theme on both sides of my family, on my father and my mom's side. So it's hilarious that whenever you get a family like that tries to make themselves, hey, don't look over here. Everything's cool. Take it for face value. You know, we're wearing fancy clothes. We put on a fancy shirt. Don't look past anything of it, okay? You start digging a little deeper, you're going to get some information about us that we don't want you to know. And that made me laugh because we just do the most white trash things like hang out at an irrigation runoff and call it a lake. Hey, we're going to head down to Chin Lake. This isn't a lake. We got to cool off. This is an irrigation runoff. The water is absolutely disgusting. You know, if you brought anybody from any place from any place that you look at the lake and it looks blue, and they looked at this and be like, are you guys fucking insane? You swim in that? And you're like, yeah, well, haven't had a cold my whole life, so I don't know. Probably, some positives about drinking pesticides and herbicides, you know. I'm just saying, swimming in it. or canal jumping. Canal jumping was the funnest, but it was disgusting as fuck. You'd see like dead roadkill being thrown in there. I've seen like a dead rotting skunk float by one of my buddies in a canal one time, and you just kind of look at it and be like, ha ha, you laugh about it. And nobody can quite understand that other than small town kids. This is the things that we went through as small town kids, right? And depending on where you're from, it might be a little different than others. That's the funny part about it to me, is this white trash paradise that we put upon ourselves. Look at this. I bring you water. Go swim, my children. And once you get through the clay, then you must battle the jaded rocks and the glass and the burrs that are going to be stuck to the bottom of your feet, and you're going to feel excruciating pain for the first time in your life. But accomplishment will await you once you dip your toes into that water, because my God, you may get some form of disease from swimming in said water, but my God, nothing will be more satisfying than the feeling of accomplishment and achievement once you've battled every element that this lake has to get to that body of water. Meanwhile, your drunk father is going to teach you how to swim without a life jacket today. So this is going to be interesting for the whole family to sit back and watch. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I find it funny that this is what we go through right now, is just the constant battle of like keeping your cool and keeping your household together, keeping everybody positive. And you're like, vacation? You want to go on vacation? Okay. Well, we can afford to go to your aunt's house for a weekend. Granted, we can stay with her, and we all know how fun she is to stay with, right? Oh, God. I don't know. All I want to say to you guys is you're doing great, okay? You're doing phenomenal. Keep up the good work. I hear it from you, not all of you. I hear it from some of you, and all I got to say is keep going, okay? This isn't Uncle Hack. This is Brendan right now. As you can tell, there's a difference in tone and delivery. But yeah, no, man, keep going. It's not that bad, okay? Think about your next move. Really, really think about it. Think about where you want to be and the things that you want to do. What makes you happy? Like, honestly, sit down and think about it. Because I'm telling you, maybe I was blessed enough to like start thinking about these things a little earlier. But I've seen people and talked to people just piss it all away because they're chasing something that they're not. And they devote a lot of time into their ego and really try to stroke it any moment that they can. And it's completely absorbed the golden years of their life. And I think if listen, I took a gamble on everything that I'm doing right now. Everything, is it paid off? I'm hoping it does. I really am. And I think it will, because I truly enjoy what I do. I thoroughly enjoy going out, making people laugh, bringing people together. And that's just, it's a dream come true for me. Everything that I've wanted is starting to come. And will the money come? Eventually. I think, and I hope it doesn't affect the way that I view the world and how I act and how I interact with people. I think that my head's on good enough that I can differentiate my success in comedy and financial success are two totally different things. But to remain humble, I think is the main thing. And I don't view myself as a superior person to others. I don't view myself as, because of what I do in that there's popularity surrounding me, I guess, in a way with online fame or whatever it may be, but I don't associate that with me being better than anybody. So I try to view everybody like we all got our bullshit. And I think that, you know, some of you just need to hear that. Go for it. Fucking go for it. Quit fucking around. You got really, like, think about this. It could be done tomorrow. You could be wiped off. Your existence on this planet then lasts another week. Then you're just a thought every now and then to everybody. And it's a morbid way of looking at it. It is. But guess what? That's reality. And I think if you really put it in your head that this could all be done tomorrow, and or you could, you know, you could get diagnosed with a terminal illness that could take your life in 6 months, and then that's when you really start living, and you start going for the things that you never did while you had the opportunity to do it. So I'm saying, if there's goals in your life, write them down. Look at them and plan your execution and do things that make you happy. Genuinely do things that make you happy. I know we're going through a lot with a pandemic, whether you believe in it or not. It's what conspiracy theories are consuming some of your attention. Arguments, family members are being separated because of different viewpoints on different angles on what they think is correct and incorrect. And I'll tell you, it ain't worth it. Okay, this is, to me, a lot of that is manufactured anger, and there's plenty of years of psychological studies to know how to tap into the human brain, and people are arguing what seems to be a lot online, but outside of online, the things that happen online shouldn't affect, you know, how you view the whole world as a whole. But to be able to, like, have an open conversation and not, I don't know, ruin relationships with one another. Essentially what I'll fucking boil it down. Jesus Christ. I don't know. See, this is why I should never go down this path and make this show. I should just keep these thoughts stored upstairs. But just listen to one another for a fucking second and talk it out. I know there's insane people, but your family and friends, if you lost friends and they're still believing all this bullshit, and you can have opposing viewpoints and still be friends with one another. Half the fucking comedians that I hang around with think different politically than me. And those are some of the funnest fucking people to be around. So all I'm saying is get over your fucking self, pick up the phone, call one another, repatch some old relationships, gun for the things that you've always wanted to do in this life. Or if you've wanted to try something, try it. Try it. Honestly, go out, do what you want. Whatever the hell it may be. And find happiness. A lot of you are way too fucking unhappy. You know, if you're unhappy in your relationship, either talk it out or fucking leave. Get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid off. There's new adventures out there for you, and it'll be much better than whatever you're fucking going through right now. Dog. I don't know why I put dog at the end, like a but yes. Get out there. Be the men that you were meant to be. Be the ladies you were meant to be. Be a fucking half-decent human being. And I'm sorry that I made this weird at the end. You know? It's like, oh, he's going full uncle on me. But no, honestly. Stop being a jackass and chase your dreams and get it going. Life is way too fucking short. And I realize that at 31. Some people don't realize that until they're 60, that they pissed away a good chunk of their life not doing what they wanted to do or chasing a dream that they had. You can accomplish it. Trust me, you can. Just give your nuts a tug and start laying out a plan. Start building a little bit of track. And before you know it, you'll be there. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast, and we'll see you next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. Or if you want this episode that you're listening to now, earlier, It's on the Patreon, and you will get it Tuesday at 3 p.m. Plus, an additional episode is waiting for you on the Patreon. Patreon.com/DangerCat69. See you next week, my dudes.